Now, throughout today, we've talked a lot about the way in which technologies and implementing technologies, new technologies, can help turn around fortunes, and also of the need to get that done quickly within organizations. And so we're very honored to have an opinion on this from the CEO of NESTE JACOBS, Jamo Suominen, from Finland. Mr. Suominen joined the company in 2010 as Managing Director and CEO. He's got over 30 years international experience in industry technology, project management, engineering, maintenance, and construction. And he's served a wide range of chemical companies and chemical processes and bioindustries. He's a mechanical engineer, and he's ready to talk to us now. Mr. Suominen.
Thank you, John. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to be here today, participating first of all the GPCA and have this opportunity to talk to you. I was really delighted to listen this morning the executives of the leading companies in the region bringing up a couple of issues, very important issues, one of being competence development, technology development, and also listening to the consumer's voice. I think when we talk about technology development, we need to listen to the consumer's voice, which is coming stronger, and there are issues these days like sustainability and so forth, which also should drive the industry in the right direction. We also heard that it's not all about feedstock and feedstock availability or feedstock advantage. And I think in the region also the companies should think about how to become really a tier one front-running companies. And one of the things to get yourself there is being in the front line of technology development. Talking about technology development, it takes a bit stomach. It might include a risk, and it might include also failures. But the first failure actually is, out of all failures, is to waste a failure. I mean, we maybe have come all across people who say they have never failed or so, and I think those people have never pushed the limits. And I think to be a front runner, you must push limits. So my presentation today touches a lot about technology development, but particularly technology co-development. We also heard this morning that when you're developing something new, you don't have to do it by yourself alone, and it's not even beneficial. You should combine the best competence, knowledge, and resources together and leverage that. I will first show you a little bit about results we have in general achieved by technology co-development past years. And then I will go through very briefly what is technology co-development in our terms. And then I have a case study, a great success story where the company has really developed something revolutionary and new in the industry. First of all, this relates a little bit in the case study which I'm going to talk about. In the past years, we have together with our customer, which is a producing company from the industry, built the new technology which, in the matter of fact, is having a market share of 60% globally. Took 5 years from the innovation to first commercial production, and then the countries and states where these applications are is increasing rapidly. We have quite nice coverage actually of the technology co-development technologies which have been commercialized. Some of the technologies, as I said, okay, they have not found the commercial platform or success, but there are several occasions where we have ended up in the building a world-class and world-scale facilities. Many of these examples which are in this map are actually technologies which we have developed to our customers, and we have not stopped there, but because many producing companies, they really want to focus in production, they have also utilized us as a licensor in the later date, which means that we have been involved in preparing the PDP packages and so forth, and acting actually as a licensor. Well, there are different companies. Many companies have their own R&D facilities and R&D departments. Some companies don't have. But the concept here actually ties together R&D and, you can say, the real world, the commercial world. And the technology co-development is actually a block in between, bringing those results from the R&D laboratories to the real life. So it's not only about technological issues, process engineering issues, it's also about looking at the commercial feasibility, it's also about looking at the markets. Then, of course, in most of the people's minds, technology development is a long way. And it is a long way, but there are, of course, opportunities where you can speed up this process. And one of the important things is, of course, that you will find very early stage the feasibility of those innovations, technological ideas which have come on the table. And we have developed a lot modeling and simulation skills and tools, so that the case study which I'm going to talk shortly actually shows you how you can avoid of going the traditional path of building pilot plant, demonstration plant, and then going further to the commercial plant. Sometimes piloting is necessary if the phenomenon is not known and there is no literature and you cannot really verify things in the laboratory scale. But basically what you need in this concept is you need research, you need the modeling and simulation, mathematical modeling, computer simulations, and you need engineering also involved, which will bring more the reality end of the investment. So how it basically works is that you get R&D results and you have different libraries where you collect data. You start from there, you do simulation and modeling, you get some results, but it also works backwards so that actually the people who do the simulation and modeling, they give the R&D direction, what they should really do in their laboratories and testings. So it's a very iterative process. After this initial iteration is done, then the engineering part comes a little bit more with reality, and then eventually, if it's successful, there is commercial feasibility and so forth, the execution part can start. And of course, the whole idea here is that you will come into market quicker, which means, of course, that you will have your break-even point also quicker. If you then look at the case study I want to share with you, is actually Neste Renewable Product Success Case. I will show you the timeline shortly, but basically from the idea, it took about 5 years to build and kick off the first commercial scale plant. And this was totally new feedstock. The product is maybe not that new, but the characteristics of the product is amazing. And currently, as we speak now, this represents 50% of company's net earnings. The production volumes, as we speak today, are at 2.6 million tons annual. And there have been, of course, several further development phases where debottlenecking and process improvements have been done. The product quality here is so good that you don't need any blending. You can use it directly. It's compliance with aviation sector. The technology was years ahead of competition in production, commercial production. And currently we are working to develop further these technologies and get diversification of the product portfolio which they are producing. So in the matter of fact, early next year, the next phase of new products are coming in market. If you look at the roadmap then to the success, if you go to the left-hand side first, there were of course some innovation, there were some ideas. The R&D started to work with those ideas, and in about 2003, technology co-development partner, the company who can bring the results of R&D into reality, came into picture. And from there, through several steps, roughly about 5 years, the first commercial plant investment decision was made. And then you can see towards the right-hand side that currently there are 4 plants, 2 smaller plants of 200,000 tons, and actually those 2 bigger plants, one in Rotterdam and one in Singapore, are currently running in above 1 million tons each. And there are further development plans. Also to diversify the product portfolio and also diversify the feedstock. In this particular case, a lot of effort has been put in the feedstock flexibility, because different feedstocks prices vary in the market. So we can have a cocktail of the most attractive feedstock without affecting the quality of the end product. And of course, you should never stop. And currently, we talk about these feedstocks. There has been a lot of effort put into to broaden the feedstock to the current process, but then there are plans also going into further and different pathways, like biological pathway and thermocatalytic pathway and even photosynthetic pathway. So they are coming in the future. And in this future part, we are of course expecting that there will be some failures. Everything will not fly. Maybe it's too early, or there are some other technological hurdles. So then talking about what are the success factors of technology co-development, and as said, the technology co-development requires different parties. It requires the producing companies, it requires either in-house R&D departments or external R&D departments, and it requires a technology co-development partner, which basically and typically is an engineering company who has very strong process knowledge and technological know-how. So really the cornerstones are strong process competence, wide experience. It's very beneficial to get experience also from those people and organizations who operate plants and maintain plants, because everything is not only process technology, it's not only chemistry. There is a lot of material science, material selection issues, and so forth involved. So you need a very wide experience on the same table. Of course, seamless collaboration is very important. We need to have clear goal orientation, and we need to keep safety always in mind. Independence is also quite important. If you look at us, for instance, we want to work transparent way and open way. I personally believe that the best results are achieved by sharing and not boxing in. And this might be sometimes difficult when companies are investing in the new development and so forth, but I think we should have courage to be open. There are issues, of course, like IPR, intellectual property rights, IPRs and stuff like that. We have selected ourselves not to be jealous and protectionist in this manner. We are very open. We are not necessarily building our own IPR portfolio. We are more interested in developing processes, new products, helping our customers to get better results. And flexibility is there as well. Flexibility, of course, is a bit of a paradox, you know, one where you have to keep the certain level of rigidness, but you need to have flexibility also involved. You cannot only demand from the people who are innovative. It requires some flexibility there. So these are basic building blocks on this concept, success factors. So with those words, I would like to thank you for listening to me, and I think we will have a chance to exchange some questions and answers. So thank you very much.